Captain Goodwill, you will notice that it is the aforementioned time of 8 p.m. of the time zone that humans often refer to as BST. I believe it would be logical for us to begin the show.
I agree, Science Officer Synoiz. It would be logical to commence proceedings at the agreed-upon time.
Let us proceed.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the United Starship Adequate Naval Construction Contract 65418. It is ongoing mission to provide logic to an illogical galaxy, to seek out new logic and make it even more logical, to boldly go where predictably many other YouTube online-based Star Trek television shows have gone before. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, Treks, Trekkers, and evolved Vulcan viewers. Welcome to this week's episode of Trekking Up North, which will cover Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episode 7, 4.5 Vulcans. I am, of course, Captain Goodwill, and joining me, as ever, he is a Vulcan, he has eyebrows, he is Science Officer Synoiz. Report!
Hello. My name is Science Officer Synoiz. I am here on behalf of the denizens of the planet Honk. Oh, apologies for my brief break in character. I appear to have just performed an act upon myself that you humans refer to often as sharting. Also, I must report a slight incident that I can only hear you in one particular ear due to these headphones not working correctly and me having gaffer taped the ears over the top of them.
This is highly unprofessional, Science Officer Synoiz. You are the Science Officer of this vessel. You should be fully prepared for this proceeding at this given time. You represent not only Starfleet, but myself. And please refrain from any more emotional outbursts for the remainder of this broadcasted show.
I shall, but apologies. I have just sharted again. Your emotional outburst appears to be highly illogical. Shall we begin talking about this particular episode of the Star Trek show designated as Strange New Worlds?
We shall. Hello to everybody viewing on...
And again.
Do you require medical assistance, Science Officer Synoiz?
Either that or someone to remove the cat from there. I can't do it. I'm trying not to look at you, and it's too difficult. Would I require to go to sick bay to remove the kitten from my insides?
I'm required to be relieved of duty. I have been emotionally compromised by what appears to be the hood mixed with Admiral Patak.
Is that some kind of questionable humor aimed at my Vulcan eyebrows?
Yes. Also, I fear Thunderbird 2 may be after you.
The eyebrows that are entirely functional, for they are so sharp that in a pinch I can use them to slice through solid objects, to cut open, say, an aluminium can in order to make a makeshift weapon, or a shiv, as you humans call it, to get myself out of prison scenarios.
Speaking of escaping a prison with a makeshift blunt object, I do believe, Science Officer Synoiz, you are hosting a quiz in the human town of Sunderland tomorrow.
That is affirmative. We are hosting a quiz of the nerdy variety. Nerdy being a colloquialism referring to saddos who watch this kind of show. Can't do it, man. We are having a very logical quiz. It will be questions upon nerd culture, and there will be a raffle. However, the unpredictability of such a thing is highly illogical. Being a Vulcan's tough, man. I can't do it. I'm giving up. I'm taking the ears off. I'm taking the ears off.
No, don't remove the ears. No! He's become human! He's become so human.
Vote reform.
Ooh,
sorry, I just got incredibly illogical there. Incredibly illogical. Incredibly
Hello
stupid.
to the flank shaggers of the United Kingdom. We are back.
Hello. It's not like Nigel Farage has lied to you before.
Climb a lamppost and paint a roundabout. We are here to review Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 4. Episode 4, 7. I can't count. 4.5 Vulcans.
I can't do it, man. One of my earphones has stopped working. So I've got this. You sound like number 5 from Short Circuit. Like in this headphone, and I'm just
Use your foot.
okay.
Use your foot to hold the wires in place.
Hold on. Hello, everyone in the chat.
Hello.
Sorry. This is why we're never allowed to improvise, I think. But
No, this is why we're never allowed to improvise. Hello to everybody in the chat. Hello to Chris from the transport room. Hello to Beth. Hello to the giant, magnificent Northern American Canadian shed. That is David Jones. Hello there, David Jones. I hope you are well, good sir. I have a bit of bad news for those UK Trek fans this week, because it is with great sadness that Destination, the unofficial Star Trek convention, has announced that the delicious, the delectable, the future Benton Fraser of the Due South remake, Anson Mount, will not be attending this year's convention due to falling ill. I am devastated, and I am also relieved. I feel there has been a bit of a conspiracy, Science Officer Synoiz. There has been a bit of a conspiracy. For when Anson Mount heard that Captain Goodwill would not be able to make this year's Destination, the unofficial Star Trek event, he took ill. He took ill because he could not bear to travel all those miles and not see his greatest fan. He is so disgusted at my comments, everybody, that he has disconnected his headphones and suddenly become a character from Babylon 5.
They're just not playing ball. They're not playing ball. They were working for an hour before the show started. As soon as they're actually required to be needed, they've stopped working.
Chris says he has a friend that is currently working at Destination this weekend. His friend can probably confirm that as soon as Anson Mount said Trekking Up North was not going to be there, neither am I.
Suddenly he gets COVID. Suddenly he has amazing
5G. You know, he decides to go all retro.
He learned that the Velvet Snatch was not going to be making an appearance this year. And,
send to yourself. Control yourself. Send to your emotions, Synoiz. Send to your emotions.
I'll start with my bloody camera first. But
we need to acquire your Catra.
My Catra? That's what I've got stuck in my arm. Someone told me that I needed to get in touch with my Catra. And therefore... Where is Tibbles? For I much desire to speak with him.
Remember.
It's almost like we've just watched an incredibly stupid episode of Strange New Worlds, and it's put us into a bit of a silly mood. Would you say that was correct?
This was a ludicrous episode, man. I have watched this twice. I have had the fortunate benefit of watching it, having enough time to set up a stream and then watch it again. This is the benefit of going, no, I will leave on time. So it just got more and more crazy the more I watched it. There is a lot of detractors online when it comes to this episode. And do you know what I say to them? Do you know what I say to them, Science Officer Synoiz?
Is it logical?
It's Star Trek.
Flatulence. Yes.
It's Star Trek. It's the most, again, one of the most original series episodes we've probably got, with a splash of comedy. Come on. Come on.
I think the thing is that, you know, the criticisms that I've had for this series of Strange New Worlds is that if you're going to do comedy, you've got to temper, you know, like usually you temper it and stuff. Whereas this is basically the Lower Decks crossover we got in season 2. This just goes full throttle ludicrous, and thus it kind of works. It's very funny because it just you kind of know from the offset, okay, it's a silly episode, righto, and then you kind of buckle down for it and you're kind of fine with it. Like, I think anyone saying, oh, it's not proper Trek, or oh, it's going silly, or someone said they're running out of ideas, and I'm just like, this is a pretty like a pretty sort of new idea, surely. Like have we had many episodes where people have changed? We've had stuff where people have changed their sort of like species and not wanted to turn back, but I don't think it's ever been mainline characters.
We've had Spock turning human from a freak accident.
Yeah, but that also was Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. I think if after those old scientists and Subspace Rhapsody, this is the episode you draw the line on Strange New Worlds, it's very odd. It is very odd to do that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go against the grain on this. I enjoyed it. I think it was an hour of daft fun. It was light-hearted. We got Patton Oswalt. For God's sakes, we got Patton Oswalt in Star Trek as Doug, the Vulcan, and his sister Susan.
I think the best thing about this is that it's so incredibly stupid, but then it's done from a nerdy perspective. Like, if it was like stupid but wasn't Trek, so if it was like stupid and kind of just ignored all the lore and everything, that would be one thing. But it's the fact that you can tell that it's Star Trek fans making jokes in a Star Trek way. Like, you know, like the fact of that they're flipping things on its head, like the idea of a Vulcan being obsessed with humanity like Doug is, but then just little gimmicks like him having a sister called Susan and
a cousin called Peter, who's a veterinarian. It's daft, it's silly, and I loved it. And I've got to say, my standout is Pelia in this episode.
But the thing is, we've said it so many times that we need more Pelia, and this is like they heard us and they just went, you want more Pelia, this is why we can't have too much Pelia. Like, this is why we can't have too much of her, because she's so ludicrous if you let the character go. And she is so funny in this episode and so off the wall that you are just like going, actually, yes, I can see why having her in
there's
a lot
moderation
of episodes might be difficult. If we stay true to this kind of character, but I do love it. Like, I think I've written, you know how I work, where basically I write down notes from the show and I write down quotes and stuff. Most of them are Pelia.
I'll give.
I saw a meme earlier on. Okay, obviously someone did not respect the whole "it's just come out, don't do any spoilers." But I saw a meme earlier that I thought was taking the piss. I thought it was like a fan meme that someone had made up and thought was funny. And then it's not. It's a direct quote from Pelia in this episode. And I'm like, okay, that's
I know exactly the quote as well. That's
exactly.
The thing. Yeah.
I saw that like with screenshots and I was like, okay, they've used footage of Mbenga and Pelia and they've put like a funny bit of dialogue on it. And you're like, nope, that actually happens. Cool.
I'll give the viewers and the listeners a brief rundown on this. So, on their way to some much needed shore leave, the Enterprise receives a distress call from the Vulcan High Command because they have a civilization that they interfered with several hundred years ago who needs their nuclear reactor fixing, basically. Otherwise, it'll go into meltdown. There is a bit of a quandary about the Prime Directive, and they basically say, hey, this happened hundreds of years ago, but they don't know the existence of Starfleet. They only know about the Vulcans. Fair enough. So in order for the crew to fix the nuclear reactor, they need to pose as Vulcans. However, this alien race has got sophisticated sensors and technology, so they'd be able to detect that when the away team goes down, they would be Vulcans. So with the use of the Kirkovian formula, again, the name from season 2, Kirkovian formula, they turn Uhura, Laan, Chapel, Pike.
Uhura.
I've already done Uhura.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah. Uhura,
Is it only
Laan,
4? Uhura, Laan,
Pike,
Chapel.
Chapel,
Yeah, Chapel.
and Pelia. Well, they
No,
try
yeah,
Pelia.
they try, yeah. Into Vulcans using the formula. And they try Pelia and it doesn't work, but the other 4 get turned into fully fledged Vulcans. And then during this transformation, one of the greatest quotes from Carol Kane in Star Trek is done.
Well, it's just genius. Like it feels like a bit out of character for Star Trek. Like I can see why people would dislike this line, but also if you're gonna give the show the benefit of the doubt and let it do its own thing, you're just like, no, I'm happy that this exists.
It's 5,000 years old. Come on.
Well, yeah, but it's that typical trope, though, you know, where you just go, hey, these characters have existed for thousands of years. There's hundreds of years of history. Why do we keep talking about the 1960s and 80s? You know,
it was so good.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, okay, I'm a bit depressed that the last 100 years are the greatest years of human history, apparently. But basically, when they're talking about why she hasn't transformed, and they're like, oh, it must be because you're a lanthanite. And she's like, oh, this keeps happening. Honestly, I had the same experience with LSD in the 1960s, 1990s, and last July. And it's framed so perfectly because Mbenga's just over her shoulder, just being like, what do we do? You know?
Although, huge props to the 23rd century for still having drugs.
Yeah. But I also like the line preceding this, though, which is that everyone gets injected, turns into Vulcans, and then immediately starts screaming and crying at how strong their emotions have become. And then Pelia's just standing there, just being like,
this looks like fun.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, I'm annoyed it didn't work. That looks like fun. And they're like screaming in agony. No, it is. It's everything that Pelia does in this episode is absolutely brilliant.
So
like,
funny.
Even in the opening brief where it's like her and Pike, and then for some reason she's just be like, up top. And he's just like,
you don't know what this is, right?
This is a face that I see a lot in my actual day-to-day work, because I am that person in meetings where higher ups will just look at me being like, I know what you're doing, but this is a meeting. You know, it's like, why do you think this is appropriate? That is me connecting with Pelia on a cellular level.
I had a review today, mate. It's a slight tangent. I had a review today at my job, and they were like, you are brilliant at the day-to-day. You are fantastic. You've bedded into the team. You work really hard. You just need to be more of a manager, because you are being too funny and you are being too like yourself. Like, try and dial it back a bit. And I was like, I don't really get what they mean. And then she reeled off this crazy shit the last week I've been saying that I've not realized I've been saying. But then I realized that then when she tells it, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that does sound like something I'd say.
That does sound like someone with mental health issues, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Up the meds. But yeah, it's the way that Pike reacts to her as well. I love it when Pike is like just uncomfortable in those types of situations. He's just like,
yeah, he's just like it's this expression of like, why are you doing this? And why do you think this is appropriate? And it's an expression that I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, so long story short, they beam down to the planet, and to everyone's surprise, because they're all Vulcan. By the way, the walking montage to the transporter room.
See, this is just like, I think this is the thing, you know, where you have it, where if you're going to do comedy in an unexpected place, you need to go full in with it. You can't just be like I kind of get annoyed with some horror movies where they have comedy elements, but it's not
Yeah.
enough. It kind of like like it takes you out the horror aspect, but then doesn't go fully into the comedy aspect.
Yeah.
I think all of this, like as it's stacked up at the beginning, like the Pelia's high five bit, the actual her reactions in the sick bay and whatnot, and then the walking down the corridor as Vulcan scenes, where that was enough to make me go, okay, I get it. This is a stupid episode.
Yeah.
I will judge it like a stupid comedy episode.
Yeah.
And it's good that it does that rather than, us going, oh, is it trying to be serious? Oh, well, this is a bit corny. Instead, we are like, this is dumb as all shit, and they know it. Like it was so edgy. It was so sort of like, yeah, it was hilarious, and I know that a lot of people are going to complain about that. Like, I'm actually going to go out and watch all of the. Obviously, I always watch the. Oh God, I've forgotten the channel. The Trek Core,
Trek Culture.
Trek Culture. Why was I thinking Trek Culture? No, the Trek Culture up and down videos. But I'm going to watch some of the other analysis videos as well, just to be like, were people bothered by all of this that we find endearing?
I find it so endearing, and again, it just brings me back to Star Trek of old. Because you just have those wacky episodes, but this, when they beam down to the planet and Pelia's like, it's going to take a couple of hours, and they're like, we've secured the building, the reactor is nominal, you can beam us back now. And she's like, they're making me look bad. The thing is, that's what an engineer would say. Yeah,
it's taking the piss out of Vulcans, where it's just going, yep, they are so ludicrously effective that they've just done a job.
But it's also think of engineers and stuff like that in IT and in engineering, where they're just like, nope, it's gonna this will take hours. You need to do this. You need to. Oh, it's fixed. Oh.
I mean, one missed opportunity is it would have been good to have Scotty there doing his famous line where he says to Geordie in the TNG crossover, where he's like, "No, you tell him it'll take twice as long. Therefore, it would have been good to like have Scotty
when it's done earlier. You're known as a miracle worker. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the hint. That's the hidden secret, guy. That is the secret to all of life. Tell them that it's going to take 6 hours and do it in 2. That's a work-life balance for the modern age. But
I like Sarah Peach in the chat saying, "Did they turn it off and turn it on again?"
They probably did. They probably that. But think about it, Sarah. Right? Think about it. That is the most logical thing that you have to do when you have a system issue. You first turn it off and turn it back on.
Have you tried turning Chernobyl off and on again?
Yes, and that's why they got into a mess.
Hey, the transporter room in the chat.
Hey, Chris.
Agreeing with enjoying Pelia, but he's not a fan. He's not a fan of this episode. The episodes this season have just not kept my attention.
I think that I think we knew going into season 3 that they were going to try some more off the wall episodes, and some of them have been hits and some of them have been misses, namely last week's episode, What is Starfleet? However, at least they are trying. At least they are going out there and breaking the mold. IT engineering is Vulcan. It's Vulcan at its heart. Yeah. But, at least they are trying something different and not just sticking to the mold. And this just works with this crew. If this was any other crew other than Lower Decks, this wouldn't have worked half as much. This just seems to work. They got a good crew for comedy, I think.
Well, I think the thing is, what I realised, like one of the earliest notes is that one of the first scenes that we see in the episode are where Una and La'an are having a conversation. They're having a heart-to-heart about the shore leave, and they're talking about, and then La'an is asking Una like why she's working rather than going on shore leave, and then Una's asking La'an like, so what's happening between you and Spock? And then Spock comes over and interrupts, and then La'an gets really weird. Like La'an just gets really weird and buzzy. She says like, "Oh, we're debriefing and we're eating and we're kind of eating and debriefing kind of thing," and which I've always quite good. But it's the fact of just all of it works. The rapport between the cast is so spectacular. And I think this is the thing. I think this is why things like Enterprise and Discovery didn't really work that well, because the rapport wasn't as good as we're used to. Like when we used to when we used to the original series, when we used to TNG, when we used to Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and that rapport between the cast is so important. And knowing that when characters don't fit in, they need to be minimized.
Yeah.
And getting this one, like La'an and Una get on together, like Uhura and like Pike get on together, like everyone gels, and therefore it means that you can have these extra stupid episodes and they pull them off really well.
Yeah. But again, it just reminds me how much it would rock if we had 20 episodes.
Yeah.
Just a
It's clear that they've got the ideas. Like,
yeah.
People are saying this episode proves that they're out of ideas, and for me, I'm just like, nope, this still seems pretty creative. Like, this doesn't seem like it's rehashing stuff. It's like a joke episode. Like, obviously it's a stupid thing, but I quite like that this is the closest, especially with La'an, this is the closest we get to a mirror universe episode in Strange New Worlds. Because that's another thing that they can't go into, because it would be treading on the original series' toes.
The thing is, as well, when we find out when they've been back from the planet, that the Kokovian serum will, it's not turning them back to humans.
Yeah.
So they are all stuck as Vulcans, albeit temporarily. I love Pike as a Vulcan.
Have we got a picture of Pike as a Vulcan? Because he looks so ludicrous.
It's the hair.
I don't know if it's in the slideshow.
I think it's in the slideshow. I think it is in this.
We will see. We will see.
But it's the way that it's the scene in sickbay when when they're being examined by Vulcan Chapel. Pike just walks up to Umpenga right in his ear, and he's like, what is your think of this situation? What is your take on this situation? And just, oh my god. And it's just, he just plays it so well, and then all the way through the episode where he's just, but for the show to actually get Anson Mount to record the opening monologue as Pike Vulcan as well, it just added that tiny little detail. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. And it was just so fucking funny. Sorry, excuse my language. But it was just so... I don't want to get cancelled again this week, folks.
Well, hopefully, as long as we don't talk about certain world events.
Well, we had warnings. So, I checked the Gmail, and it was just YouTube just going...
No. Don't talk about the real world.
But yeah, just Pike as a Vulcan in this episode. It's so, and when he's cleaning the quarters, and he's like, I am double cleaning. I am cleaning to the state of the Vulcan. And then he goes on about the human smell, and I'm like,
I love that this is a running gag.
Yeah.
Humans smell so incredibly bad to Vulcans, and it's just like this thing in Star Trek lore that I adore.
You guys got warned? Yes, we did, and this is the last I'll talk about it.
Goodwill? Maybe
why did we get warned? Why did we get warned? I'll tell you why we got warned, everybody.
I'm not just dressed like the hood today. Geesian, I am the hood.
This Geesian right here, who looks like the Hood from Thunderbirds, got me several warnings from YouTube from last week, all right? And we got disconnected live on stream because of this person here, okay? So, So I'm not discussing why we got warned. Don't make me do it.
We've got to laugh because the
wrong one.
1984 instance is terrible.
There we go. No, access denied. Access denied. Stop it.
Hey! No.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah.
It's almost like we're living in some horrific dystopian future rather than the utopian joy that we want from Star Trek.
But anyway, getting away from stuff that may get us demonetized. Yeah, so Pike just double cleaning the quarters and just stop it. I know what you're thinking. Stop it. Synoiz, can you tell on Twitch? No, he can't. I'm just waiting for the little pop-up going doo-doo. Disconnected. But yeah, so yeah. Pike as a Vulcan is so good because he's like he's trying to help Battelle because Admiral Pisstake is there. The Vulcan hood.
I
from
love that.
Ad
What's
Astra
he called? Vasark?
Pasark.
Okay, I wrote it down wrong.
As in Pisstake.
But it's just like, I'm glad that they brought him back. Like, this is what I enjoy about stuff. I enjoy that Strange New Worlds keeps bringing back these things that we thought were a one-shot and done. You know, like Pasark, you know, being a character. Because we only had him in Ad Astra, I believe. And we were like, hey, we thought you were one and done. And then he comes back again, which is great. Same as Mbenga's backstory. I like that they're aware of their lore.
It's showing that the world that they inhabit just exists and you can't just warp away to the next adventure. There is still going to be, you know, ramifications, consequences. These people still exist within this world. They are not going anywhere. You know, that's why you get Kirk coming. Excuse me, I've got the burpees.
I saw that meme today, which is like the meme where it's basically Pike being like, "Why are you always on my ship?"
Oh, yeah.
And it is. It's like
Star Trek. What are you doing on my ship? Or why are you always on my ship? Yeah, I've saw that one on there. Yeah.
And it is true. It's like going like, yeah. To be fair, can't you just have him move to the Enterprise?
It was a bit redundant.
I think coming up with new ways for him to be
just there
on the Enterprise is ludicrous.
It's like, we get it. You want to do Star Trek Year One. We know. It just that part felt redundant to me this week. Like Kirk, the whole reason they had it was so Kirk and Scotty's bond could strengthen. But again, they could have done it in another setting. They could have done it in another story. It just felt redundant that he was just there.
I think once again, I think what we're seeing is endemic to Strange New Worlds, which is that it has these big ideas. It has loads of stuff that it wants to have in an episode, but it just doesn't have the time to go into all of it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so I think the Kirk and Scotty plot line in this is totally justified, but the fact is the episode has so many other things going on that there's no time to spend with it. So it's kind of like he's purely
but it makes
there,
it redundant.
So Scotty has a foil to do that. And yes, it does. But this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Strange New Worlds just has a habit of going too fast for itself. Like, because the thing I hate in this is that things are resolved nearly fully resolved off screen. Like, we literally have like a bit of conflict with the Vulcans, and then we have Doug's character where Spock convinces Doug to go, hey, go and talk to all the Vulcans. And then the next thing we see is like an Una monologue being like, okay, Doug has sorted out all the Vulcans and they've all agreed to turn back.
No. He didn't. She didn't say that. She went, Doug.
No, she said, Doug.
Doug.
Yeah,
Doug.
Which is ludicrous, that whole thing. But
good on Patton Oswalt, though. I'm sorry. Good on him.
I had heard he was going to be in the season, and I was just like, who the hell is Patton Oswalt going to play? And I thought he was going to be like a Badmiral or something. So to have him as a Vulcan, I'm just like...
We'll get out. Oh. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry. It's been a long week.
Yeah, but it's the fact of I'm disappointed that it could have had a scene where it was Doug and each of the characters sitting down and talking through the whole, oh, Uhura, you've basically violated someone's like mind in order to sort of make them more logical, which is wrong. And like Pike, you're basically breaking up your relationship with the way that you're acting about this. And like you know, like Chapel, look, you've got no friends, you're being like, you're not sleeping, blah blah blah. You know, it could have had a scene, like quick little montage of him doing that, rather than it being just because we had it in previous episodes where I got annoyed, where we just go, hang on, did that just get fixed off screen? Really? Okay. And it seems like they're more, and it's good. It's not like sort of J.J. Abrams like Star Wars or whatever, where it's like, hey, who cares what the plot is? Look, explosions. Same
Somehow
as
they
this.
became human.
Well, like that thing. It's unlike that. Strange New World seems to focus on having its big explosions are actually talkative, like sort of character scenes.
Yeah.
But it seems to be like, hey, we can't do it in a meaningful character scene. Okay, we'll just do it off screen then. We'll just say, hey, that got resolved. You can guess how it happened. And I don't know. That annoys me a little bit because it suggests like they couldn't have just spent an extra 5 minutes, you know?
I found it really interesting that for La'an's character, the Romulan side of Vulcan DNA came out.
Yeah, I like that. And I like that they tiptoed around it because this is before they discover that Romulans exist.
Yeah,
Like
so
because it's got La'an being like, "Hey, I've kind of heard a legend about what I think is happening," you know.
No, she travelled back in time, if you remember, in season 2 with alternate universe Kirk, so she knows. And and obviously we had the obviously we had the Balance of Terror remake with Pike in season 1.
Yeah.
But in universe. In the Prime Universe, in canon, the Romulans weren't known to be ancestors of the Vulcans until the Balance of Terror in the original series. So for Pike and La'an to sort of like say the word Romulan at the same time and then just never discuss it again and walk away, it's like, okay, cool. But yeah,
I like it. It's the whole like sort of, oh, I only met him when he was the commander of the fleet. You know, it's that whole thing of going, look, we're not going to step on any toes. We're thinking about how to do
which
this,
is good.
But
which is
we do
good.
want her to be a Romulan, you know.
But it was just interesting that, you know, the tactical officer, the security officer became the Romulan in the Vulcan group.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, look at Malcolm Reed from Enterprise. Like, it's a thing about security officers where they have to be paranoid. Like, look at Odo, look at Worf, look at like Tasha Yar to an extent. You know, it's the fact of the security officer needs to be the manipulative and paranoid one, but then like becoming logical, just and with like Romulan aspects. Just
we need more weapons.
Degree. What was the line I wrote down? It made me laugh so much. It's just like, this ship has a problem. Not enough weapons. It reminds me of one of me and my best mates like favorite movies is like the Split Second with Rutger Hauer from the 90s, and it just has a line of just like, well, what we need big fucking guns, big fucking guns. And it's so iconic. It's such a quotable film, and it just reminded me of that she's just gone full crazy Romulan.
It's so good. Uhura and Beetle, though, the fact that she just objectifies his mind and bends it to her will.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a tough one. Like, but this is the thing, though. It's like, we could probably maybe, I don't know if it's offensive, but we could maybe take the Romulan, the Vulcan condition here and equate it to sort of like how wouldn't life be easier if you thought in black and white, if everything was just logical or illogical. But then you have people with like autism who see the world like that, and they have a hard time because they just go, it doesn't work like that. Like, when everyone else around you doesn't think in black and white, then you can actually be upsetting them and you don't realize that you're doing it. And so that's kind of how I viewed what Uhura is doing here, of going, hey, we've had problems in this like beginning of a relationship because we think differently and because we don't communicate properly, and I'm scared about this and he's scared about that. Wouldn't it be more logical if we thought the same way? Okay, well, I will do the logical path. And it becomes a sort of greater good type thing where she's done it to help their relationship. And it's true. Like they do get on better. They are a great relationship when after she's done the mind meld with him.
Yeah.
But he's no longer him. So it's the whole thing of going, well, to be fair, logically that makes sense, but it shows the failings of Vulcans, the failings of seeing things in black and white.
It was result again, the sheer speed of the episode to resolve things. This was done way too easily, and Beto. If I was Beto, Beto, they keep
But
changing
it's really
the
odd. Someone
pronunciation.
calls it Beto, and I'm sure
Yeah.
he's Beto in the last one. So it's like
Bebo, as we'll call
Bebo.
him. The old social networking platform from 20 years ago that only 8 people remember. So for Bebo, they could have explored this a little bit more. Like if they were going to do something with it, like, you know, hey, you manipulated my mind. I'm not okay with that. Like, you essentially brainwash me to be compliant. You treat me like a pet. I'm not okay with that.
The thing is, though, that after what he did to her in the last episode, where he totally betrayed her trust
Yeah, I
purely for the
suppose, yeah.
thing, I
Yeah.
think the discussion that they have at the like towards the end, where they basically have a hey, should we just start over? And I think that was the whole thing of going, oh, you've done something deplorable to me, I've done something deplorable to you. Let's just start again. And
Let's
that's
call the
kind
whole
of how
thing
I
off.
yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
took it. But obviously going into someone's mind is a bit also you're right, this is very much like the original series because the science in this episode annoys me. Like the idea of how Chapel's like, hey, I just reverse engineered this thing off screen from like this previous thing and I'm sure it'll work, and then it does. And you're like, who did you test this on? Like, you seem very certain to
How
put
did
this, and
yeah?
the first person you inject is the captain. It's like, I know we need to get to the plot quickly, but that seems a bit inconsiderate.
And
But
how
then
did
also,
Spock time it so well?
yeah, exactly. It's a bit like that, but that is how the original series worked.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
how a lot of Trek works. But then also the idea of going, hang on, they've been Vulcans for less than a day, and they know how to mind meld. When this is like a forbidden, forgotten, like sort
No,
of art
so
form, you know?
there is. So what I noticed on my second view through was Una's second log. She says that they have inherited Spock's disciplines and
Right.
emotional suppressants. So basically, they have become fully Vulcans in a way of physical and not emotional, but, you know, like logic, in a way that would take normal Vulcans years to achieve. But because they've used Spock's DNA, essentially what they have done is transferred his
Right. Okay.
learnings and, you know, basically his disciplines into them, which is why they act like Vulcans almost immediately. Because one assumes, well, yeah, because one assumes when a little baby Vulcan, when a little baby Vulcan is little baby
Vulcan.
you know, when they're popped out with a Catra, they, you know, they are not just I am born. Do you know they will be
Mother, I have been birthed.
Mother, I must suckle the teat. We
Suckle the teat, mother.
feel
Let
very
me
ill.
latch onto it.
I feel very ill. But it you know, they would be emotional. They, as Spock says, Vulcans feel emotions far stronger than humans. So, you know, that discipline at a young age, it started at a very young age. So, yeah, you know, for plot convenience, it would make sense. How interesting would it be, though, if they injected the Kirkovian, right? I hate that name, by the way. They injected it, and it turned them into Vulcans, but Vulcans without the discipline for logic.
Well, have we ever seen an undisciplined Vulcan?
Oh,
we've seen bits of them. Like,
Seen bits of them, yeah.
Because in Enterprise we have the episode where it's people who have learned logic and then given it up, and then we've got things like is it
The
Spock's
flashbacks
brother?
to no, but we've seen the flashbacks to 2,000 years prior as well, when the Great Awakening, where Vulcan was plunged into a global conflict, basically. But
Have we seen that?
we snippets of it. It
Okay.
would be something interesting to actually see on screen, but
Well, that's it,
I highly doubt it. But
Well, you know how we've seen stuff like where we've seen what a Klingon was, previous in their evolution in like Genesis, in TNG and whatnot. It'd be really interesting to like have an episode where Vulcans go back to how they were before they discovered logic, where they're just absolute psychopaths.
yeah, or people from Birmingham. But we,
That's it.
What? No warning for that? Ah, you hate Birmingham too.
I'm pretty sure we get an award. We get the algorithm praises us if we
I
sign
await
off
my
Birmingham.
plaque. I will hang it on a lamppost. But yeah, it would be interesting to see that if it was like, right, we need you to be turned into Vulcans to do this, but the side effect is banned in Brum. Oh no! Anyway, we are.
Oh, well.
I'm sure the 6 viewers are devastated. But but to see unevolved Vulcans, like unmentally evolved Vulcans, and then they're sent down to the. I think it would have been a good episode, like if they were going to go down the comedy route, like, hey, they turned into Vulcans, but they mask, and then they are set free on this pre-warp world, and it's the Enterprise's. They need to go retrieve these savage Vulcans from this pre-warp. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. That would have been quite interesting. That.
I think that's it, but it very much points out that Strange New Worlds hasn't run out of ideas yet. And there's so many other things that they can do. Like there's so many interesting plots that they can do. And I will say, like, I think the highlight of this episode was La'an, because like the Pike bits were good, the Pike bits were funny, but like obviously him getting very fidgety with his cleaning and stuff.
42-minute shift rotations as well.
And then the payoff coming later, where Pelia just wakes up in the background of a shot, being like, "These 42-minute shifts are killing me." It's so dumb. The whole thing. It was a proper sort of like like setup and payoff in this episode.
It's so good, but yeah. Anyway, you said.
But I will say my favorite thing is La'an in this, like just how ludicrously evil La'an gets, and just the look, the full like Romulan look and whatnot is just like iconic.
Scotty's just like, I bet she's halfway to thinking of shuttle. Not yet. She's like, poltergeist.
Yeah, they're looking around like pretending that she's like going like, oh, maybe she's hiding in the walls or whatever, and then she literally just appears behind them from a camera change. And it's the sort of thing of anyone watching this episode complaining that it's not proper Trek or something just needs to get a sense of humor, because it's the same as the singing episode, it's the same as the those old scientists. It's just having fun. And Trek has always had fun. Like all the best shows have always had it. Like remember the X-Files. The X-Files always had a comedy episode in every season.
Buffy did.
Yeah, that's it. And it's that thing where it shows how strong the characters that you have are when you can use them in this different context.
This is the beauty of Strange New Worlds, and we've said this about previous seasons, where on a dime they can go from serious Star Trek with emotional overtones. Ad Astra per Aspera. Yeah. And then they flip it to, Spock's getting married. And it's just like, even episode 1 and 2 of this season, where it's just like, okay, we've got to sort out the Gorn hegemony. Boop, and now we've got a Q. And it's like, but this is what Star Trek used to do. This is what Star Trek was always about. Comedy and serious issues as well. The ability of the crews.
Well, we've seen what happens where like the people complaining about it are the people going, "Oh, it shouldn't be so silly and it should take itself more seriously." And yet we look at what the problem with Discovery was, which was just that I had lost all will to live.
Took itself way too seriously.
Because it is season 1 of Discovery is the bleakest like sci-fi I think I've ever watched. And, considering we have things like the Outer Limits and whatnot, it's like, I was literally like, why am I watching this? I actually feel horrible watching this because it's so bleak and it's so depressing.
Are you sure you weren't watching Babylon 5?
No, that's just shit. Where's that warning?
Mark messaged me the other day because he was like, I'm sorry I haven't replied to your message. I've got COVID. And I went, oh no, have you lost taste? Have you been watching Babylon 5? And he went, no, I'm not that bad.
I need to message him and say Babylon 5's a big pile of shit.
Why? He hates it. He's got taste still, so that's
sensible
good.
Man.
Well, sensible man.
Not if he's got COVID.
Anson Mount and Mark in the same room getting COVID.
Suits you, sir. I like it though. The fact that like I think Strange New Worlds might be too far with it. Like, you know, it's been proper flipping each way in this season, but it is great. Like it is like sort of
It's taking those risks.
I think that's it. Like it's the fact of going you could probably watch these in a different order.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. It's
Yeah,
an
but
odd one.
think about it this way, right? Think about it this way. That's exactly how the original series was. It was shot out of order. You know,
Yeah.
if you get a Blu-ray box set, if you get a DVD box set of the original series, it's episode 2, 5, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4. Do you know that it's completely shot out of sequence? And it's designed in a way where you could watch episode 7 of season 1 and you don't have to watch the first 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To know what's going on. That was classic American TV. You know, you look at the famous shows of the 70s and 80s. You look at Starsky and Hutch, Knight Rider, A-Team. You don't have to watch from the beginning. You could pick up on episode 23 and go, okay, this is the gist of it. Let's get on with it.
But the
And I
problem
think that
here
that's
with
been
Strange New
lost.
Worlds, the thing with Strange New Worlds though is that it is like an ongoing overarching plot. Like it's the fact of you do need to watch them in order, so it kind of loses the sort of hey, well, you could just delete the comedy episodes if they're not what you want to watch, because effectively it's like, well, then you lose massive swathes of the plot, you know.
But I guess you don't, like, if you think of this, right, the only really issue in this episode is Patel. If you take out the Patel part, you could watch this in any order when you think about it.
I don't know, because you've got the whole. There are aspects of Scotty and Kirk's relationship that are important in this episode.
Yeah.
Pike and Batel's relationship, and obviously Batel's job, but also like Chapel. What's his name again?
Jeremy Corbyn.
Jeremy I'll
Dr. Jeremy Corbyn.
He's not that good. Dr. Corby and Spock and Chapel. I like that there's a bit of development there because, and I kind of get it because like with the Uhura and Beto, like thing where they're not communicating properly and they're not on the same wavelength. I kind of like that Chapel is saying to Spock like, hey, now that I've been a Vulcan, I kind of get why it was so difficult for you.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Yeah, her kind of realizing like, wow, I was judging him like he was a human. Like I was sort of expecting him to act like he's a full human, and he really isn't. And that's part of her immaturity in the relationship and his over maturity in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's just nice little touches, you know. But that's what makes Star Trek Strange New Worlds so good, is the fact of these amazing relationships between the characters.
Dr. Jeremy Corbyn's hunt for eternal life resulted in him discovering socialism. So he,
the true joy of
the
galaxy.
true fountain of youth. But yeah, I want to discuss Batel in this episode. She finally gets something to do, and that is basically
rather than fight a god.
Rather than fight a god, she basically tells Pike and Pasak to piss off. Which is brilliant. By the way, leek sorbet, I kind of want to try it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes. It's only logical. I want to try it.
Leek
It's a sorbet. It's a sorbet. It's not an ice cream. It's a sorbet. It might be nice. It's green. It means it's good. What? You judge me. Don't you judge me. I've seen what you eat. I've seen the kitten.
Rank. You've seen what I put in my mouth. But enough about Berlin.
What happens in Vegas?
Somehow gets to the clinics over here, which was a surprise for me, I think.
Oh, is that why you're called Patient Zero on your passport?
I was going to make a Patient Zero too, as well. But yeah.
How did it spread to cats?
Gotta catch them all.
I like feline.
Yeah, so that was a tangent and a half, but yeah.
But yeah, Patel telling Pasak to just piss off when he's there to like assess her to make sure that she's fit for duty and fit for a role as a Jag. And she just basically tells her both to piss off after Spike's like, no, she's not fully recovered. She's overestimating. And she says that she requires 2 days rest and she requires this. And she's just like, right, you're sorbet shit. You're arrogant. You constantly make bad decisions. Piss off the pair of you. I'm sat there going, fucking go on, Patel. Go on, look. Go on. Fucking get it done.
I do like, because we've all had.
She kicked him out of his own quarters.
Yeah, that's it.
His own quarters.
We've all had these moments where you just want to sit with your boss and just be like, will you shut up? Like, will you actually sort of. And I love that, like, she just has this, like, just angry thing. She's like, hang on, you're supposed to be supporting me and you're a dickhead. But I quite like it though, because we saw in Ad Astra just how we saw just how biased he is. Like, he's like, hey, I'm logical, I'm a Vulcan, and yet everything he did was massively biased, and you're just going, that's not logical at all. You're hiding behind this like thing. And I like that she calls him out on it. Like, it's that, you know, we all saw it, and the payoff at the end of the episode, I don't know how I feel about it, because I like it in the context of the episode, but it doesn't feel earned. Like, we haven't seen enough of Pasark to.
It feels weird that, you know, she essentially told him to piss off. She essentially said, you're a bit of a dick and piss off, right? That got her a promotion, okay? But Synoiz is right. We've not really seen a lot of Pasark to sort of warrant his behavior and why he would think that Patel would be a good fit because she told him to piss off. It's sort of, it's a little bit to head of Jag as well.
Yeah, he says something of like, oh, I need someone who can be totally honest and not be afraid to be honest and whatnot in the role. And you being able to do that demonstrates that you can say what needs to be said. But the thing is, we don't know enough about the character to go, oh, that would make logical sense for him. It's more the idea of, I would probably have like with everything, it would have been nicer to spend a little bit more time with the character and have him kind of go, oh, like, I don't know how you would have done it, but
what I do love though is that, unlike every other character, the payoff with Pike is not there. She's doing the dishes. He is absolutely shit scared of her, right? And you can tell that. And then right at the end, after Pasaka's left, and he just goes, even forgiven a little bit, and we hear nothing. And that is just perfect for me. That is Pike in the doghouse. You know who wears the boots in that relationship, and it's firmly Patel on his own ship. He got cooked. The cook chair in the menagerie is motorized for a reason.
But this is the thing, though. Before we get into a discussion of, oh look, they've made like Pike into a sissy or something like that. You know, like, it's the fact that he's not. They are equal in this relationship.
Yeah,
they've done it wonderfully. But it's this idea of, in this moment, after she's just been furious at him and he knows that he's acted like a dickhead, he's like going, okay. Okay.
He knows when to back down.
Yeah, the power dynamic has shifted temporarily, rather than it being like, oh look, the woman's in charge kind of thing, which a lot of people are going to see it as, which is just nonsense. But I like that, because that's how relationships work. It's a fact of one of you has a bad day and the other one has to sort of back down and sort of compensate, and vice versa. But and I like that. I like that I'm liking Patel now, because she was just such a non-character for so long. Like the fact of, we know her name now. And it's not like Discovery, where it's bad writing, where they just went, hey, I'm sure we mentioned their name at some point. Oh, who cares? In this, they did go, hey, here's her name, but she was just such a non-memorable character for so long that we just never really paid attention. So I like that they've brought her to the front, given her some plot lines, and now we know who she is, and we're on her side for stuff. Nope, you've gone silent.
I know, because I really want to talk about Una and Doug. I really
Now,
want to talk about Una and Doug.
now I will say, okay, how do you feel about the weird connection that they have?
They say opposites attract. They say that you should not judge love and attraction based purely.
Hold on, hold on. Equal as long as she doesn't want a medical procedure or have her medical situation shared openly. Yeah, to be fair, I think that's the thing. That's the dynamic between them. You know, it's like,
Can I just point out
hmm.
Chad McGargle?
I think it's an old ex. Sounds familiar.
What a name!
That's a brilliant.
What a
Hello,
name!
my name's Chad McGargle.
That that would be the ultimate email address.
Chad McGargle at Gmail.
Like if you worked at like a drinks company
Gargle mail.
or something like that, that would be like Chad McGargle at highlandspring.co.uk. Do you know what I mean?
It does. It's like he's gargling the white stuff, and this time it's not milk. But no,
He's
it's a
responded.
very-
Anyway,
But no, it's a good point though. But I think that's the thing. It's the balance between any relationship of going like this is too far, this is not like.
I
too
don't
far.
know. I think look with Una, we've not really had much relationship stuff, and the fact
Oh,
that
sorry.
like
Well, I'm talking about Chad McGargle's comment about Battelle and Pike.
oh right, I thought you were on about Chad himself. I do apologize.
Oh no, the quote like they're equal as long as she doesn't want a medical procedure or have a medical situation shared openly.
Yeah.
Like which is the idea of obviously her being like, hey, we need to do this, and Pike not getting a say in it, which
Yeah.
is very true because it's the. But then I think in this situation it is a different thing because it's not really about her body or Pike's body. You know, like I think. I guess to be fair, if she was seen pushing him, saying, "Hey, I don't like you anymore because you're Vulcan," and that she was being a dickhead about it, I think that would have been negative. That would have been the same kind of thing. But we don't see that. What we see is her just acting that way, and then Pike coming to the realization, because that's how it works. Like you can't win an argument. The fact of life is you can never win an argument. As soon as it becomes an argument, there's no winner or loser. It's just you're both wasting time. Because the only way that someone can change their opinion is by going, "Oh, I'm wrong about it." Like you can't tell someone they're wrong. You can just go, "Hey, here's facts," and make and think about it. And then if they go, "Oh, I've reassessed it now," like you can't tell someone to think differently. So I think the idea of if she'd said to him like, "Hey, you need to change back right now or I'm going to break up with you," I would have been very negative about that because
Yeah, and he would have
toxic.
like Chad just said there, breaking confidence like that reflects badly on the character. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been a very bad look for Battelle. Una and Doug.
Yeah, okay, Una and Doug, yeah.
Una and Doug. I love this. I just love this. This is the side of Una we have never seen, and the fact that it's Patton Oswalt. Look at that. Who can not love Patton? Who could not love this man? Look at that. He's
How many pictures
incredible.
of Patton Oswalt have you put into the
Not
slideshow?
enough. I'm gonna get more. I'm gonna put more in.
Has he
I'm
got,
gonna put more in. I'm gonna. No, you've
some characters
spurred me
don't
now.
get mentioned at all. Patton Oswalt has got at least two
I
slides in
don't
there.
give a shit about Kirk. I'm gonna have Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, does Kirk even appear in the slideshow? No, but yeah,
No.
I'm gonna say I don't know how I feel about the whole Una and Doug thing. I like it, but the thing is, Una is a character that I absolutely love in the show, and I don't know if this is like sort of doing a joke aspect to her character because the way that she's acting is really silly, and I don't
think it's silly. I really don't think it's silly. I think like they haven't seen each other for 15 years. This was clearly a young love for Una. Yeah. I think that it was hot and heavy. It was passionate, but
not that heavy. He's about 5 foot. That was a height joke.
He says sinking. Stand up straight. Sit up straight. There we go. You look like Chris for a minute. But we sorry, Chris. But we please tune into the Anime Club live right now on Nerdy Up North if you want to see Chris. We but
Move his camera down.
But we see another side of Una where, you know, she's rekindling a young love. It was a hot and heavy. It was a slinked her 5-foot ass. Oh, Sarah, come back. But we see, you know, it's just she's seeing a love that she hasn't seen for 15 years, and all those emotions are like coming up to the surface. And it's just nice to see Una in that way. And even, you know, she even warned Spock, like, you're going to see a side of me that no one has ever seen. You know, I just need you to go with it and stuff like that. And the fact that it's just Patton Oswalt, it just truly shows, like, it doesn't... Even the show itself, for a split second, portrays this tall, handsome man, and then he moves, and then the camera tilts down to Doug.
That's so
right?
ludicrous.
But it just shows... It doesn't have to be... It doesn't have to be Rebecca Romijn's actual... husband. It would have been cool if it was Rebecca Romijn's actual husband.
Do you think,
Patton
though,
Oswalt, man,
that it's a bit pandering? Because, you know, the whole thing, like, there's all this stuff in the media and whatnot at the moment where it's like the whole thing of, I don't know, like pandering, where it kind of goes like, look, the super hot sort of character, oh, she likes the sort of...
She's in love with the yoga, that type of thing.
The dumpy sort of like nerdy guy and stuff. And it is a bit wish fulfillment, I think, for the fan base. But then at the same time, though, we get a lot of this. Like, it's like, what is wrong with wish fulfillment? You know, like, what is wrong with going, hey, let's have like a fat Jedi or something? It's like going, well, it's for the fans, let's do that. You know, like, let's have like sort of, you know, these kind of characters. So I enjoy it. It's just, I feel a bit weird because I love Una so much as a character that they did this joke thing.
We don't have time, so we have to solve the plot through exposition, but we have 25 minutes to watch our characters interact in a silly, out of character, sudden relationship from nowhere.
But this is the thing, it's like we watch Strange New Worlds for like the character development and the relationships and stuff between them, but you're right, the episodes aren't long enough. Like, it's like we keep saying on the show, it's the fact of going, why is this episode 5 minutes less than the previous one when they could have put an extra 5 minutes in to clear up a scenario, or not just jump ahead and go, hey, cool, oh, we fixed the Vulcan thing, and you're like, off screen, what, you know?
The fact that she's trying to like lie to Doug as well, and that it's so transparent to Doug that as soon as Una leaves, he goes to Spock, you are not married, you do not have kids, and Spock's just like, no.
They just spent ages, but have you, this is probably a very personal question, have you ever had a person like this? Like, have you ever had like a Doug in your life?
In your my life?
Relationship? Yeah, like...
It's classified information.
Someone where when you... Like, someone in your life where when you see them, you're just like, oh, God, all your intentions go out, all your best intentions and the logic go out the window. Where you just kind of go, I know they're horrible, I know they're either toxic or silly or it's not going to work, but here we are again, you know. Because it's nice seeing that lots of people have these people in their lives where you're not on bad terms necessarily. You just have to be like,
it's the one that got away.
Even when it's not the one who got away, even when it's the one where you just go, we had to step away from this. You know, I don't know.
I'm
because the thing is here, they're both each other's one that got away.
I'm going to say that this is classified for me.
Okay. No, just
do you?
I do, and it's really annoying because I saw him last month, and it's the fact that there's this guy, okay, who we are not compatible in very important parts of our lives, but then whenever we're in the same room together, we end up just together. And then it just ends up like almost like a jump cut in a comedy movie of just being like, oh, not again, you know. It just, and it keeps happening, and I keep going like, nope, like this is not going to happen. And seeing the scene with Una where she's just like, okay, I'm just going to stand here, and he's like, you need to go, and she's like, okay, cool. Like that has happened a couple of times, because otherwise it just kind of ends up being like, oh, and again, but then we are not compatible in the slightest, in other aspects.
I'm going to steer this conversation firmly away from this topic.
Okay.
But yeah, like Doug, who studies humans, doesn't know that they sleep for 8 hours a day.
It's so dumb. Like, what are we saying here? Are we saying that this is because this is original series kind of timeline that the Vulcans haven't got as interested in humans as they do later on?
I don't know, because like, it's played out that himself and his parents were very interested in human culture, hence the names, and he has studied humans. But what lets it down is that he fails on the basic things. Like, if it was just colloquialisms or it was like customs and stuff like that's fair game. But to not know that humans sleep for 8 hours a day and stuff like that, it sort of like takes
have you
away.
Even started researching?
Yeah, it sort of takes away from it. But we'll get to the post-credit scene later on.
I think that I'm not trying to sort of justify or like sort of make excuses for it, but I'm pretty sure the whole post-credits thing was improvised. So I'm thinking a lot of it was just randomly improvised between the two of them, and that Spock's smile at the end was genuine. Like, that was genuine, the end of take, and they kept it in there, like, that was just the actor.
They sleep for 8 hours a day. I know. I think again, though, this is because we had this with the Space Adventure Hour, where they genuinely just put like outtakes in the post-credit scene as well. Some of them were genuine, some of them were just like, what? And I like that. Do you know what I mean?
It shows that the cast get on with each other,
and don't take it too seriously.
Having fun,
Yeah. We are probably some of the most passionate Star Trek fans out there. For me, Star Trek is life, and I am actively working on it, like being my life. If you know what it nudge nudge wink wink, how's your father? But I know when to take it seriously, and I know when to not take it seriously, because at the end of the day, it's still a show. These are still characters. These are still actors portraying them. They are allowed to have a laugh. They are allowed to show a lighter side of Star Trek. Something which, if you're going to be honest, apart from Lower Decks, we haven't really seen since DS9, when you think about it. So give them a break. Do you know what I mean?
A lot of the levity in Voyager came from let's laugh at like Tuvok or
the Doctor
trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Or the Doctor. So it was a lot of it was just very like it was dry humor from the Doctor or Seven.
Yeah.
And then sort of like funny because we were laughing at Tuvok like being Vulcan. So I think probably it probably has been DS9 since we had some genuine.
So all things in service of the plot. Great show, lazy writing. Potentially lazy writing. I do agree with that, because as we've discussed, the Katra is resolved off screen.
Yeah, I think that's it. I will say it's lazy writing, but I think it's more the idea of them going like, okay, we could clear that up, but we don't have time for that, and it's probably not really laziness in the writing. It's probably sort of making the cuts in the wrong places. So going, yes, we could have had a scene where we resolve the Katra thing properly, and yes, we could have had a scene where we like give Beto the actual motive, like, and we explained Beto's motive before the last episode, where it's like, oh, he hates Starfleet because of how his sisters turned since joining it and whatnot. We could have had all of that, and instead they went, hey, we'll have these other scenes instead. Like, I think it's more that they could have written them well, and it wasn't lazy. It's just they chose to cut it in a particular. They chose to be like, we can lose this bit and save 5 minutes and get the episode out properly.
Speaking of Beto, where he was just like, I've just been busy editing after the documentary, and I sat down and I just went, editing?
Yeah, you didn't fucking edit anything. You would never have put the beginning of the episode like
ironically,
that. If
update.
he was editing as he went along and he didn't check it before releasing it,
Update, right?
Beto's a lazy journalist.
So I got a message from Mark earlier in the week because obviously
I thought you were going to say it was from YouTube again.
No,
delicious warning.
No, I've blocked them. I got a message from Mark. He caught up with last week's episode of Strange New World, and it was so I felt vindicated because you know how I akined last week's episode to a first year uni student trying to act like a professional using all the various angles, Dutch angles, off shot, off center and everything like that. Mark messaged me and he just went, "Why am I watching something a film student has produced?"
Yeah.
And I went, wow, like for two people like to come to the same opinion, I was just like, yep.
Wait, it's like I said last week though, like you can tell that the people behind Strange New Worlds made the episode feel like that, where they went, hey, we'll make it look like he's a first year journalism student, so we'll use all of the tricks and we'll make it corny as all hell. But then that doesn't serve the plot, because it's like, why the hell would Starfleet be like, hey, here's a trainee, we'll put him in our flagship and get him to document really sensitive stuff? It's like the two things do not mesh.
Also,
if it had him being like, I'm just here because I'm trapped, like Jake, like during the Dominion War, where Jake gets trapped on DS9 and he goes, well, while I'm here, I'll write some stuff for Starfleet and I'll become a journalist. And that makes sense. So then they're going, hey, you're in the right place, the right time, so you can do this, and we'll let you get away with it, even though you're probably not very good. Whereas Beto is specifically put there by Starfleet to do this job, even though he blatantly isn't qualified. It's a leap of faith plot-wise.
I have a question for you. In regards to...
Yes, many times.
Why do you do that? My brain 404s when you...
I'm just going to respond to Chad in the thing. Yeah, but this is not the first time we've seen exposition solving our plots. It's true. It's
true. It's a Star Trek trope.
It is a Star Trek trope. Like the amount of times when he just kind of like in TNG, where it just goes like, well, the peace negotiations are all resolved because we saved one child, and you're like, where's the middle bit? Like,
okay,
how have we? And it is lazy writing, because I will agree that it is lazy writing, just to be like going, oh well, we could have done that, but we've just gone, well, you can guess what happened, you can fill in the blanks, but I'd like to see it.
The show has shown to imagine a world without bigotry is beyond the creative group in the lore episode. Shown some tonal racism here, and within the musical episode, for all the good it is, I can see why the show was cancelled. It was the decision to cancel it was purely because of residuals.
Yes,
which is a
Paramount being busted.
A massive issue in Hollywood, and that is why outside of America at the moment, loads and loads of shows with loads and loads of seasons are being quietly removed from streaming services, because if they are not there, they do not have to pay residuals.
As if they get over 5 seasons, they need to start paying.
That's the Paramount thing. Even if it gets over 5 seasons, but it just in general with streaming, international streaming services are losing a lot of shows because they are quietly removing them so they don't have to pay residuals. I have a question for you, though.
To be fair though, like Chad, did you not enjoy the lore episode? Like, did you not enjoy Ad Astra?
Ad Astra per Aspera was
that is one of my top Trek episodes of all time. That's like up there with In the Pale Moonlight. That's up there with sort of like Measure of a Man. It's a ludicrously good episode in terms of going like, because it has that thing where it has someone who has bigotry and them kind of working it out. Like they're kind of, they're fighting to sort of go, hey, this person's being oppressed, but then they're realizing that they're also an oppressor, and it's just it's wonderfully done, because it
shows irony, and hypocrisy,
being one-sided. Because that's what we have a lot of the time, where you just kind of like, we get a lot of people who are sort of like, gay, but then also they'll be phobic in their own kind of way, and you just like, you can be both. You can have your own prejudices, but then also be oppressed in the same way. But yeah, anyway,
Getting back to the episode.
Oh yeah,
I have a question for you. So
Okay.
I pondered this as I pondered my orb.
You only
I
have one?
Yes, well, you know, there was that accident. Um, so the Pike La'an, Uhura, and Chapel decide that they wish to remain Vulcan. This poses a risk to the Enterprise and the crew. So the senior officers, as seen above there, decide to conspire. Right?
Yeah.
I have a question for you. I'm gonna bring some common sense logic into this logical episode, right? Two things. I always say two things. Mbenga is the CMO of the Enterprise, correct?
Yeah.
Could he declare them medically unfit for duty and relieve them?
He could. However, are they? This is the problem. Mbenga does need to say, and the fact is, Pike, you would need to be so dramatically out of your way. Whereas all we're seeing from Pike is that he's ruthlessly efficient now. He's not actually not fit for duty. He's just making silly Amazon level decisions like 42-minute shifts, which is
with
dumb. But I will say that if I was Mbenga, I would struggle to make a case for.
And do you think one of them thought about going to Admiral Pasak and said, "Hey, we've got this issue. It is posing a because the whole La'an thing, like, that is a serious issue. That is someone messing with the offensive and defensive capabilities of the ship." And it's Scotty and Kirk dealing with them. Only a passing mention from Spock and La'an going, "Oh yeah, that's a situation that could turn soon."
Yeah, no, I will say that is a full suspension of disbelief in this episode. That is the whole Geordie and Data testing out a laser in front of the warp core kind of thing. Where
to dust off an oldie. To dust off an oldie.
Yeah, let's
health and safety be damned.
Not put that in the logs. Let's just not mention that because that.
I nearly turned someone into a Geordie once. It's quite funny. But they got a skateboard out of it, so hey ho.
But it is but no, I think it's the La'an thing is just going, yes, they definitely need to be looked into because that was serious dangerous stuff that she was planning. And also the idea of the Romulans, because it is just like a whole, they're not allowed to talk about it yet in terms of canon, like we're not allowed to have that reveal because this is pre-Balance of Terror. However, it is fun as a plot.
Yeah, but Pike knows and does nothing.
It's the whole Mbenga thing. It's the whole kind of, okay, we know, I'm just going to ignore that so I don't need to confess it to a higher up at all.
Yeah.
But this is the problem though, where with I've forgotten his name again, with Pasak, I don't know if they'd gone to him and said there was a problem with these people being Romulans, he probably would have taken it negatively because we've seen that not Romulans, with Vulcans, because he would have just gone, hey, well, she can't be a Romulan because there's no connection between Vulcans and Romulans, and that's the company line. But also that he prefers Vulcans to humans, so why would he want them to change back? I don't know. I think you could have gone down that, but it would have convoluted the plot even further.
The post-credit scene.
Oh God.
This is this was interesting. This was an interesting little tidbit to put onto the end. For the most part, I enjoyed it as a little bit of a daft tangent at the end. Cheers for coming by, Chad. Absolutely wonderful
thanks,
to see you. Hopefully, we will see you on the next stream.
Yeah, I haven't caught up his message. I was too busy talking.
Talking, you. But yeah, like the post-credit scene, like I said, for someone who claims to study humans, like not knowing they sleep 8 hours a day, the rest of it was just like, give me 5. I just found it so funny. It was daft, and some people were like, this is not Star Trek. I just took it with a pinch of salt, and I just had a laugh with it.
I think the fact is, like with the musical episode, like with the those old scientists, it's the idea of just going, look, you've established that this is a jokey episode, cool, just roll with it. I prefer that they go all out, and I prefer seeing the characters having a laugh with this and knowing that they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So having this scene that I'm pretty sure was all improvised between what's his name again? Ethan Peck?
Ethan Peck and Patton Oswalt.
Ethan Peck and Patton Oswalt. And just yeah, the way it's cut makes me think that it was just them improvising, and they just cut like they did it for like 10 minutes and they just cut out some bits and went, there we go.
It's the bit where it's like, is it where Doug Gooch just goes, how much cheese? And Spock goes, a lot of cheese. And Doug just goes,
no. How much cheese? A great deal of cheese.
And Doug just goes,
yeah, but I think it's like, pull this finger and then flatulence. It's just
when he's like, when Doug goes, give me 5, he goes down low, I am victorious.
Yeah, but I also like the fact of like the next time it cuts to him doing it where he says give me 5, but like Doug like goes to hold his hand just in case it moves again. He just I very much enjoyed it. Like,
I do love Patton. I really do love Patton.
Well, you're a massive fan of what is it, Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yes, he is TV son of TV's Frank in Mystery Science Theater, and he is funny in that as well. But he's been in so many things. But he is a genuinely nice human being, and it's so nice that he's finally been brought into the Trek fold. And the character that they introduce Patton Oswalt is Doug, and it's like you know for a fact, right, that they're like, oh, we're gonna call him this, and Patton was like, no, Doug.
Yeah,
it is Doug, and it's just like, I think it's a reference to King of Queens.
I haven't seen that. I've never seen that.
Have you never seen that? Oh, I think it's a reference to King of Queens. Those
in the chat, tell us what you think.
Those that are still alive and have not been bored to tears by our tangents, yes, you will get that. But yeah, it just added just that little bit. I don't know. I just liked this episode. It was lazy. It was dumb. There was a lot of exposition off screen.
Yeah.
I just liked it, man. Do you know what? After a hard week at work, right? You come home. You guys know I'm not looking at any spoilers. I'm not looking at any trailers or any screenshots until I have watched the episode, right? So to come home after a hard day of being screamed at by people, to sit down and have this episode on the TV this week, it was welcome. I enjoyed it, and I actually laughed, like genuinely.
Yeah.
I laughed, which is not something I do often these days, unless it's with Synoiz or I'm being hounded on Twitch. So it was a genuinely good thing. Pelia was my standout of the episode, though, because I just said they're making me look bad, and it's.
I don't know. You know what though? It's like, I think Pelia was hilarious. I loved Pelia, and it was nice seeing Pelia how she should be, and then kind of realizing why she's not in that much, because it would derail so many episodes with just her acting like this in it. But I actually think La'an stole the show for me in this episode.
Really?
Because, well, just the bit that made me, several bits made me laugh out loud watching it, and just immediately get my pad and be like, gotta write that one down. But my favorite thing is literally where it just cuts to, like at the end of the episode, it cuts to her and Una in 10 Forward. And it just basically she's just saying, I'm sorry I beat up James Kirk and tried to take over the ship and start a war. You know,
just don't do it again.
Yeah, Una's like, yeah, don't do that again. And it's just like, and it's so tongue in cheek of just going, we are aware that this is a stupid episode. Like, but
I'm trying to do a poll. Hang on.
Hey,
yeah, go on, keep talking.
Thanks for sticking around.
You're not going anywhere.
What did you think of this episode, Transporter Room? I know you're saying that it's been this season of Strange New Worlds has struggled to keep your attention. But did you enjoy the comedy in this one? Though, Goodwill, what I think I don't want though is I enjoyed this in a bubble. I enjoyed this episode in a vacuum, knowing that it's a comedy episode. But I
Yeah.
don't know if I don't know if I want characters like Doug to appear again. I want it to be at the beginning of the next episode. Una and Doug have slept together, or something like that. But now he's gone off, and they've broken it off again, kind of thing. And that we don't really mention Doug again, and have him as part of this silly one-off comedy episode. I think
Yeah,
if they
a
try
lower
and make
decks
him
character.
into a yeah, if they try and make him into a sort of regular character, I don't know if that relationship's going to work outside of the comedy
No.
context.
No.
And that's what worries me.
They
A bit
can't
like,
take this serious. Yeah, they can't take
Yeah.
this seriously. I genuinely believe that this is just a one-off. That Doug will not be in the next episode, and that it was a holiday fling.
a cameo.
It was
A cameo from
the reignition of a flame between two people.
Yeah.
Sean. What do they say? Burnt out. What is it? It's something like something that burns twice as brightly lasts half as long, or something like
the
that.
flame. Yeah, the flame that burns twice as brightly lasts
Half as long, something
I
like
thought I
that.
knew,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't.
But do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's just two old lovers just rekindling a night. Do you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think that's all it is. I don't think we're going to see Doug again. I would be glad if we don't see Doug again, because I think that it's a perfect little capsule
Yeah,
to
we
have
did it.
Patton
We,
in.
we
Yeah.
did Doug. He was
We've
hilarious.
got Patton, we've got Doug. It was funny, it was good. The post-credit scene where he's learning about Hugh, the way he just walks away. The way he
Yeah.
just walks away. Oh god. Patton is
That's
such
what
a good
makes me-
comedian.
That's what makes me think it was improvised. The whole just him walking away, them just following him in the shot, and then Ethan Peck smiling. That felt very much like the actor thought the shot was over and he couldn't
Yeah.
hold it in any. And then they
Yeah,
kept
I
it
love
in.
that. I do love that. I do love that. Wow, look at the polls, man.
Oh, Paul. See, it's what I did. Admittedly, I did vote on this one. I voted for Lan.
Biasm.
The other thing is, I like how, maybe people like Chad wouldn't agree, but like when you do a comedy episode, it gives you, like Lower Decks did, it gives you far more reign to do fan service. Because
Yeah.
we got one of the biggest aspects of fan service ever, which are, you will remember what they're actually called. However, we got in La'an's Catra, when Spock was inside her mind at the end of the
Cetacean
episode.
observation.
We did. And
Cetacean's operations.
these will never exist in live action Trek in any sensible context, because they are one
Yeah.
of the most ludicrous aspects of the Star Trek universe.
When I
But
saw
I
them,
like that we
I
got the
yeah.
citation observation.
When I saw the cetacean officers, I thought, have they actually confirmed that there's like whales and dolphins on the Enterprise? And then I was like, oh no, it's a mind palace, right? Okay,
It's
that's
just
fine.
it's just a nod. It's just
It's
a
a
kind of
nod.
look. We can't do this, but
Yeah.
here you are.
The
you know?
Enterprise is too small to have whales.
Well, and
Okay.
it's a stupid idea.
It's
Like,
I mean, they're good
genuinely.
navigators, but so are pigeons. And you don't see pigeons as helm officers.
Don't
So-
give them ideas. Don't give them ideas.
Commander Pigeon.
Yeah.
Wow, it's 60-40 Pike and Laan.
It's catching
I'm
up,
gonna keep
catching
this
up.
on towards the end. Do you have any other notes though?
I have a couple of notes.
Lay 'em on me, my Vulcan brother.
Actually, I think I've kind of gone on everything. I don't know if we've talked about the Hood coming back enough, but I know we have. But it's like, I'm glad to see him again, because we
The
hated
Hood.
him so much in our.
We did.
He's such a dickhead. So I kind of like that they've gone, hey, he's back again, and we've kind of rounded off his character a bit. So cool. It was like
We've
thanks,
kind of called
bit
him a dickhead for you.
yeah, but I like that it's like fan service within the same show, rather than
Yeah.
it being like, oh look, Strange New Worlds is referencing TNG or DS9 or original series or whatever. I like that it's like Strange New World is so iconic in its own right. Like it's not just
Good.
feeding off nostalgia. It's good in its own right that it can actually do fan service with its own properties by
Yeah.
going, he's back again. You know, it's yeah.
The comedy was good. My main issue I've had with this season is that in 26 episode seasons, the last few episodes would have been one-off episodes throughout the season. For example, Our Man Bashir. Yeah, but you know the problem is the trend. We discussed this last week at great length. The financial backing that they have and the sheer budget per episode negates the ability to do 26 episodes. You've got union rules, you've got networks and studios that just cannot commit to a 26 episode run of a show like this anymore. And if they did, it would be a greatly reduced budget. I personally, I would love to see it. I would love to see a 20 to 26 episode Star Trek season where we get these one-off episodes, we get characters fleshing out and everything like that. I just don't think we will see it again because that's the way that the industry is. They can't do that anymore. It's a ludicrous amount of money to unless this was like majorly successful, which let's be honest, guys, it never will be.
Do you think though that if it was, because the whole thing is when we had a 26 episode seasons, we could have these episodes like we get in Strange New Worlds, where we get a singing episode, we get a cartoon episode, we get like a Muppets episode like next season, all these silly things. Would they be more okay if there was 20 other episodes in the season that were traditional Trek? And is it a problem with Strange New Worlds that Strange New Worlds goes, hey, we still want to do the fun stuff even though we only have 10 episodes to work with? Because there is a part of me that kind of agrees, like, but it's not that I'm saying that we shouldn't have these comedy or musical episodes. It's the idea of going, why are there not 26 episodes a season? Damn it, you know, like
it like I said, I am a huge advocate for more episodes, not just in Star Trek, just in general. We are just never going to see that. The current state of Hollywood, which is something I am heavily researching at the moment, guys. It's bad. It is really bad. And like I mentioned earlier, the studios and the networks are removing many series from many shows, many seasons, from many shows because they don't want to pay those residuals. Like the international Paramount Plus, I believe, is going to be removing every season of South Park bar the new one because they don't want to pay the residuals. And you know, you look at HBO Max, they've removed Westworld. You know what I mean? That's only a few years old. We're going to see this happening, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised really if we don't see this with Star Trek. As bad as it is, as awful as it would be, you know, I think, guys, really investing in physical media is the way forward. Because what we are finding is that they latched onto streaming. It was a brilliant idea. It made them a ton of money. But then someone turned around and went, you do realize, much like television, you must pay residuals every time that this is broadcast. So because it's streaming services, you have to pay like a flat rate for an average amount of stream times per month, and this is going to cost you an absolute fortune. And everyone just went, I love money, and decided to roll back.
I will say I hate it though. Like I genuinely, like I had it the other day where me and a mate were basically like, oh, I want to watch, what was it we wanted to watch? We wanted to watch The Dark Knight, but then before that we wanted to watch the original Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Okay? I have Amazon. I have Amazon Prime. I have Paramount Plus. I have Disney Plus. I have Netflix. I think that might be all of it. I think I had Hulu as well at the time, and it wasn't on any of them. And it was all like, oh, it's on Amazon, but you have to pay. And you're just going, why am I doing this when I can't watch this? So we had to get out the DVD
Yeah.
and put the DVD into the PlayStation and watch it. And you're sitting there being like, this is worthless. Like, the whole point. And it's all because of money. It's all because they're
Yeah.
going, hey, we're not going to pay for that because either whether it's residuals, whether it's the actual fees of having it up there and how many watches it gets. And you are just going, yeah, we thought physical. It's kind of like AI, where we kind of went, hey, AI is going to change the world. Oh, it's really expensive. Okay, well, maybe it won't change the world then. Maybe we'll just stop using it as much,
It,
which is
yeah.
how the IT industry is at the moment, where we're going, it can't do the amazing stuff, but it's really expensive to do the basic stuff. Okay.
The problem that they're going to find, and again, the industry is very knee jerk. This is not just this is not an exclusive thing to the United States. That the UK does this as well. I what I love about UK television, especially, there's an old Simpsons gag when they're on about PBS, and it said, "Oh, this is Britain's longest running series, and we're going to show all 7 episodes tonight." But it's the same thing. Like it is the same thing. Things will just start dropping off. Things will just start disappearing. But the problem is, okay, you want to introduce. Let's say, right, you want to bring in more Star Trek fans, okay. So you bring in more Star Trek fans of Strange New Worlds, right? But they want to know the backstory of this. They want to watch Next Generation. They want to watch the original series, DS9, Voyager, and everything like that. They can't because you've taken them off because you don't want to pay residuals. So how are you going to draw in fans? How are you going to make fans engage with these franchises, engage with these properties, and get excited about future projects in relation to them if there is no back catalogue for them to go and look at, to go to watch, to go to think? It's
this
insane.
is the ludicrous thing where people like where they're going, hey, Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks aren't being successful because like no one's watching them, and it's like, no one is signing up to Paramount Plus purely to watch them. And if
Yeah.
your entire business model is, hey, who is willing to pay, who the way a show is successful is that it made someone blindly subscribe to Paramount Plus streaming service in order to watch it to see if they liked it. That is a terrible way of judging stuff. Like they should have Strange New Worlds on Netflix and whatnot, and then they go like, cool, okay, and then we'll take it down after a year and then see if people. Oh, it's just a nightmare.
It's insane. It's insane. Something has to give when it comes to how they monitor streaming platforms, how they monitor views, how they monitor. Because something has to give because their current model is ridiculously unsustainable. And by the time a show gains popularity, it's already been cancelled. Like
it's already got too close to syndication. It's already got too close to residuals.
Or you look at shows. I mean, I compared it to 1899 on Netflix. It was a brilliant show, but because within the first 2 weeks it didn't pull the subscriber numbers in, it was cancelled. But then people were still discovering it, going, "This is brilliant. We can't wait for a season." Oh, it's cancelled.
Yeah,
and it's like you've not give it a chance to breathe. You've not marketed it. You've not, give it a month, give it 2 months, give it 3 months to gain that traction, so people can spread it via word of mouth, so it becomes popular. You've just gone, nah, shit, it didn't do it in 2 weeks, so we're cancelling it. Like, it's insane. This is the modern day Nielsen ratings. It is insane.
Yeah, it's really weird. But anyway, we've got to move on.
Yes, because we need to wrap up this show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I did want to mention 2 other things that I loved in this episode. Obviously, between the Spock and Una and Doug bit, we do get the hilarious line after they've just been talking about how they're married with kids and stuff. Like Doug's like, "Oh, I was hoping that we could spend some time together," and then she just says, "Maybe I could get away for an afternoon." And then Spock just blankly turns to her and looks at her, and then picks up his drink and just pours it on her lap. And it's so obviously done. It's not even a spill. It's literally just like in front of Doug. The most like, and I just loved it because it's just so ludicrous as like an action to actually do.
Oh my god!
No,
sorry.
I absolutely love that. obviously, like Laan, I loved her being so incredibly evil, and when she gets electrocuted and whatnot, she's absolutely brilliant. Like, uh, yeah, Chapel doing all of the experiments and just telling everyone to just go away was brilliant.
And not
And yeah,
sleeping.
yeah, not sleeping at all. I I think it was quite good, and I like that we got some more time in Pellier's quarters. They've obviously
Oh,
made this set
so
for
good.
Pellier's quarters, and they're like, we're
Yeah.
gonna get our money out of this one, I think. But yeah,
They've raided the Paramount warehouse and just put it in this set and just left it there. Yeah.
yeah.
There's an empty
no-
warehouse somewhere.
That's it. But yeah, but that's all I have to say with this episode. We've talked about a lot of stuff with it.
We
I
have.
like that the poll is like
Well,
quite
let's end the
divisive.
poll. Let's end the poll, shall we?
Yeah,
Let's.
I'm enjoying this. Thank you, everyone who's voted in our poll. We have, where is it? Okay, so in third place, we have Ahura with 16% of the vote, where people thought Ahura was the best. See, that's really odd. I wouldn't have rated Ahura. Like, Ahura has her nice little plot. Like, who said, who voted for Ahura in it? If you want to just
Yeah, shout out who voted for Ahura.
Yeah, because I thought it was very nonchalant, but I enjoyed it. But I definitely wouldn't say she was in my top three.
I mean, it was okay. I just had questions about her objectifying her boyfriend. Well, not objectifying, but taking advantage and
yeah, but turning him into an object.
Yeah.
Pike is at 33% in second place, which is quite good. And then obviously Laan being an evil Romulan and just loving it. Like Christina Chong must have had the time of her life being this evil in this episode.
The way that Spock tries to convince her to change back as well, that was a very good. It was a nice segment.
I like the scene, and it was interesting because one of the notes I had was about the music, where I was like, "Is this?" I don't think it is. It was great music, but I was like, "Is this bringing back their themes from the musical episode?" Because it's the idea of this. Because the problem is that I wondered for a second, but I didn't spend enough time to analyze it. I don't think it is.
No,
but it's the fact that because that one scene is breaking the whole thing, where Spock was obviously singing about how he's like bound by his logic and how it stops him being able to feel, and then Laan is basically shutting down her emotions in order to not be hurt.
Yeah,
and then it turns out that actually them doing the total opposite of this and them having evolved past that stage is what allows them, well, Spock to save her effectively.
Yeah.
And they turn a fight scene into a dancing scene, and
it was
I kind of
so
love
interesting.
it.
Yeah, I loved it.
It was nicely filmed, but I don't know if I love it or hate it because they kept it all on the side shot, so it was like one long shot of them sort of moving sideward, going from fighting to dancing, and I liked it, but it was a bit arty, I think. But yeah,
it was a little bit arty, was it, darling?
A little bit arty in there.
Do you not like the stylization, darling? I did was horizontal shot.
It's all for quaz. Art is all. It's all for
quaz.
Give me black and white video and no
Get
tears.
me a star wipe and a fucking dolly.
And some opal fruits. I want an opal fruit and an enema. That's what I want.
At the same time.
Keep it juicy. Yeah. But
The opal fruit, I mean. Sorry. It's gonna be me in 10 years' time.
5.
Sure. I do love a good enema. I think that's it. I think that has been our review of 4.5 Vulcans. Men. Vulcans.
I did also like that with the 4.5, like them constantly mentioning how Spock was only a half Vulcan and making him feel bad about it. And we got an extra bit of exposition from him of going, "Yep, that's what my childhood was like. That was not good getting that again."
It's nasty, yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of like that we're going into Spock's background a bit, like, but subtly, like, rather than having a whole episode focused on it, we're getting Spock episodes, but then we're getting a lot of development done inside episodes without distracting from stuff that I think is good. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. That's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, treks and trekkers on this fine planet Earth, that has been our review of 4.5 Vulcans, Season 3, Episode 7 of Star Trek Strange New worlds.
Is it not episode 8?
It's episode 7, I believe.
Oh,
Episode
fair
8 or episode 7?
I
think it's episode 7.
Okay, fair enough. We'll...
Anyway, if you liked this review on Trekking Up North, please give us a like down below. Also, if you are not a subscriber of Trekking Up North, what are you doing? Why don't you click the subscribe button and tickle the bell so you are notified when we go live or a new video drops? And while you're down there, have a look at our friends down there. There's some stunningly handsome people. There's one called the Velvet Snarch. There is James Moorhead. There's Adam Asprich, the fantastic 17.83 foot tree who did our delicious theme tune. We've got Clone Star. We've got something called the Search for Trek. I don't know. It's all Chinese to me. And we have got Trek Culture, obviously, with the handsome and magnificent, yes, you guessed it, Chris. So we will be back next week to review episode
whatever
8,
it is.
episode
8 or
whatever
9.
it is of Star Trek Strange New World. Site Officer Synoiz, I bring this question to you.
Yeah.
Will we be live next week?
We will be.
Asterix.
That's a... I haven't checked my diary, but I think so. I think we will be live.
I've got a day off next week.
Hey! What? When is the day off? Friday.
Friday.
Hey,
I'm having a long weekend, not because my boiler is being serviced.
Is that what you call it?
Gotta check the flange valve. But
oh, check my flange valve. Oh, get your hand in there. Oh, can you find me Catra?
my condensate pipe needs adjusting. But we will be back. We my parents watch this. We are going to be.
Hold on. While we're talking about things to do with anuses, I've got something to plug. Yeah. Yeah, whoops. No, I just wanted to say good luck to the wonderful Kelly Ann Younghorn, our dear friend from Nerdy Up North, who is performing comedy at Lindisfarne Festival this weekend, which is very exciting. This is the 1 year in the last 5 years that I'm not going to be there. I love that we're missing everything this weekend. I can't make Lindisfarne because we've got the quiz. We can't do Destination because you're busy, and then now I'm busy and whatnot, so we're missing that, but we will be at Destination next year. But the thing that I have to plug is I finally released the first part of my new album, my new horror soundtrack album, Horrors. I'm really pleased with it. I absolutely love the artwork, which is done by a wonderful guy called Droned Artworks, which is droned.eu, I believe. And you can go to synoiz.com, synoiz.com/horrors to listen to this first EP. We're going to be releasing these little indie music videos for them soon. And yeah, tell me what you think. I would very much appreciate you give me a follow at the Synoiz social medias, and the
link is in the chat, everybody.
There we go. Go and give that a listen if you're having a good day and you want it to be worse. There we go.
As always, let us not forget, if you are a Star Trek
tomorrow.
If you are a Star Trek fan and you want to attend Destination, the unofficial Star Trek convention, that is on this weekend at Norbreck Castle in sunny, happy Blackpool. If you like pools.
Do you like hotels? Do you like hotels that are called castles?
Do you like thinking where you live is considerably better than Blackpool?
Do you like leaving Redcar?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, go to Destination Trek.
Yes, I'm renewing my passport.
That is the selling point for Blackpool. At least we're not Redcar. We might
do you like living in Redcar?
Crime, but at least we're not Redcar.
Do you like living in Redcar? Oh, what's this? A work visa? Yes. So please, 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 if you are interested in Star Trek and want to go down there, give them their support. I promised we would give them a plug. I have been liking all of their stuff and sharing all of their stuff all week, and we will be there next year, hopefully, on the main stage.
Oh God, can you?
As I've been
They're
working
not
in the
that stupid.
background.
They
no,
are
th-
not that silly.
no, they're just that hard up for decent guests.
Okay,
So
that's all
we,
right. At least we're getting there out of sympathy. And
They were
not
like-
sort of out of desperation.
they were like,
no.
look, everyone's got COVID, okay? So it's just gonna have to be you, all right?
Do whatever shit you do.
You know, we tried to get Jimmy cranky, but apparently she wants to run Scotland. But
And she's a little bit bisexual now, according to all
but
the twist that nobody wanted.
if you are in the northeast of England, come to the Nerdy Up North quiz. Now it is no longer at the old Geek Retreat. Where
the
is
new
it now?
Geek Retreat.
The new Geek Retreat with the lasers and the boots and the dancing.
It feels really weird being like, we've moved, but it's the same location because we moved with the location. It's confusing, but yes, it is tomorrow.
Is there
at
going to be
Laser Quest.
UV lights? Is there going to be plenty of UV lights?
I think there
Do
will
I have
be.
to wear something without stains?
It's oh God, yes, definitely.
Oh.
So I'm limited
I will
in
have-
what dresses I can wear.
We will have to wash our mouths.
Yeah, that's it, because mine's just white. But yes, so thank you very much for joining us for Trekking Up North. We will see you next week for another joyous episode. Can we sign off now, please? I just love milk.
As ever, on Trekking Up North, we will see you next week. Like, comment, and subscribe. Live long and prosper. Stay safe. And before we forget, Miles?
Your sorbet sucks. Now get out.